2 is the resolution, request adoption of a resolution for exception to the 180-day wait period to support a candidate as an extra help retired annuitant effective 10/22/24. Other than a step, request approval to appoint the candidate as assistant clerk and recorder, range 55, step E, effective 10/22/24. Anything you want to say on that, Gabe, before we go to?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, happy to provide additional detail regarding this agenda item. I'll go through it quickly and turn it back over to the board. So you had read the requested action, the financial impact. This candidate would be used in an extra help capacity, not to exceed the 960 hours per year, and at an hourly wage of $58.84. And it's determined at this time there's sufficient funding in the department's budget. Continuing background information, there is a government code relative to this that states a retired person shall not be eligible to be employed for a period of 180 days following the date of retirement, except under certain exceptions if conditions are met. One of the exceptions is to fill a critically necessary position where this employee has specialized skills and knowledge for the position. The employer, which would be the board, must certify by resolution the nature of the employment and the appointment is necessary to fill a critically needed position before 180 days have passed. Further, it must be approved by the governing board of the employer in a public meeting. The candidate, Jen, has been employed by the county for 20 years. She retired earlier this year and began employment in 2004. She's been in the clerk recorder elections office that entire time.
I'll move the resolution.
I do have a caller on the line. I'll open up public for that.
I'll second so we can hear the call.
Okay, go ahead.
Caller ending in 3304.
3304, you have the line.
Good morning, Board. I don't think anyone in the county is against the existing item requesting extra help for the upcoming election. However, there was a statement put out on a local Facebook page stating that Ms. Weiss has been seen regularly working since her retirement and since the appointment of Sean. I've also seen Ms. Weiss working at board meetings since her retirement and thought it was odd. We should have an explanation as to why that is in light of the fact that the county previously engaged in the services of SHN about a month before the contract was brought before the board. We should also know how long these services will be needed and the potential costs of the county. This appointment, in my opinion, seems like a quid pro quo, as the individual working the appointed position was selected by this retiree, and now this retiree is being paid top dollar to help out the recently appointed clerk recorder. I think everyone is okay with the extra help, but certainly being paid at a high rate of pay in light of our budget woes is a concern, especially if she has been compensated for her work prior to today's agenda item. Paying two people to do this job does not sit well in light of our budget situation. Absolute transparency to the public is necessary. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have a motion on the board by Supervisor Mao, seconded by Supervisor Nolan. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, go ahead and call roll.
Supervisor Mao?
Yes.
Supervisor Nolan?
No.
Chairman Leach?
I say yes. Motion failed for the amount of items. Okay.
That puts us in a pretty tough position, actually. I'm not sure why Supervisor Nolan voted no, since there is no one else anywhere that can do that
we even
job.
fly the position? That's a lot of money to come in as a part-time employee. These are things that we should have discussed before we hired. And to bring somebody back in
But
to
there's
train
nobody else, is there?
Do we know?
Well, we knew that they flew the position for 6 months and couldn't find anybody, so I'm assuming there is nobody. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to vote yes or no as far as that's concerned, but we have to we have to be a little more pragmatic. This is a time in which is of the essence.
And we should have considered that when we were doing this job position, how important the election is.
I think everybody knew how important it was,
Well,
hence
we
the
hired-
idea, we've asked her to come back and help. I mean, there
There's
is
a huge
nobody
gap
else.
for a reason, Bill.
They're doing what?
There's a huge gap for a reason. Why do we need this help?
Nobody has had any kind of, I would say zero
I thought we've actually hired folks at the elections department.
expertise in running the elections.
I thought we've hired folks at the elections office in the last year. I just wondering
The position
how
that-
bad is the staffing there?
Well, I can't answer that question specifically, but when we flew the position, we got 0 applicants because nobody knew anything about elections. So we have somebody now working that knows enough about elections to get us in trouble, so we're bringing somebody back
I
that does
don't
know
think
about
that's
elections.
true. I don't think he knows enough to get us in trouble. I think he knows quite a bit. But as I said, at the price that we're bringing a part-time employee back, it's just something,
If you want good help, you have to pay them. That's rule number 1. You can vote however you want.
well, yeah, the
but-
optics
but
to
in
this look really bad.
It's your choice.
I mean-
Just make sure you formalize. Decide which one.
Well, the optics may
Okay.
be bad, but there is no other options.
Yeah, so we gotta move on to the next thing.
You don't have anybody with any experience in setting up elections. This woman knows it from top to bottom, and she's worth every nickel we're gonna pay her.
and she retired. She promoted the person that you chose to be our elections person, and now we find out that she's going to come back and help him because he's not qualified, or he's not able to do that. So that seems a little, as the person said on the phone, the optics are bad. When someone retires and then you hire them back to do the job they were doing.
There's very few people who can run an elections department. I don't care who they are. And you have to have experience in doing it, and this particular person's got 10 years of doing it.
Of running the elections department, or she does?
No,
The person we're talking about or the person we hired?
and she has had 10 years of experience of doing elections. It's a matter of pragmatism.
No, it sounds really bad when you promote somebody to get the job and then they turn around and hire you for the job you just promoted them to. That looks really bad.
Well, I'm not sure that it looks bad unless you are looking for something bad. I'd rather think that we've hired the best person available to get the job done that can train the new person to make sure that he or she can move forward the next time.
And I believe it was made very clear that she would only come back if we picked the right person.
Say that again?
I thought it was made very clear to us that she would come back only if we picked the right person.
That wasn't made clear at all to me, but it
Well,
doesn't matter.
okay, act like that. There's a reason I voted no.
If I remember right,
Playing games,
we
and you
did
guys
have
know it.
interviews,
Ridiculous.
and we had a panel, and we hired one we thought was the best person to go into that department to replace the one retiring. And the one that's retiring has all the expertise to be able to do the election. If we can't have somebody in that department to do the elections, why do we have elections?
Well, interestingly enough, when we say we're going to hire people that either have a college degree or background in that area, we are hiring people that do not have a background in that area. Very little background, in fact, and we're hiring them. We are, and you can sit there and smirk and nod your head all you want.
I'm not
We are
smirking.
doing that.
I just don't understand
So why
why
even
we're
put down that they need a
arguing.
college degree if it's just a matter of knowing somebody?
Can I open up public comment at this point?
It's your pleasure if you want to do a reconsideration.
Tom, I think Tom wants something to say back there. He may not have some knowledge of this.
Yes, I do have knowledge of it because I just went through the process of dealing with the elections department in March for the election. All the people in there are very pleasant to deal with, and they try as hard as they can to be helpful, but very many occasions to go in there and get information, I had to wait for an answer from Jennifer Weiss. So in my opinion, she is the most knowledgeable person to be in that job, and I don't think Sean would be very excited about even doing the job if he didn't have her help, because I can't imagine what you have to know to do that job and to do it correctly. You heard the sir come during public comment and complain that to make sure it's being done right. And so I think just CYA, basically, I think it's a great idea to have her in there. I hope that maybe next election we don't have to have her, but who knows?
Thank you, Tom. Okay, we had a motion on the floor. We had a second on the floor. We did have a vote, and the vote was no.
2-1.
Do we want to bring the motion back to amend that first one and go for a second go around or not?
It would be a motion to reconsider.
Yeah.
Well, I would definitely move to reconsider the vote, but Mrs. Nolan has to be convinced that it's in our best interest. And I don't know that we're convincing her, even though I say it's not only in our best interest, we almost have to have somebody that has that kind of background. We've got a man who knows elections, but he's never done it.
No, he doesn't. No, he's got very little experience.
Well,
That was
at
pointed out
any
during the-
event, would you be willing to reconsider and just to get this election over with?
Yes, since I have my protest on record, and it is a very vocal one, sure.
So you would
Okay,
have-
then.
So we
It
do,
would have to be,
I'll consider what Tom said, yes.
it would have to be Supervisor Nolan who makes the motion.
right.
I'll make the motion to reconsider.
No, Supervisor Mullen has to
I don't
make
even know
the
how to
motion.
motion, I don't even know how to phrase this.
You did it right.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Nolan, second by Supervisor Mao to
And Tom, I'm putting this directly on you.
amend the original.
So we have a motion and a second on a motion to reconsider. We'll take the vote on that first, and then we'll bring the item back.
Okay. We have the roll call.
Supervisor Mao,
Yes.
Supervisor Nolan,
Yes?
Chairman Leach.
Yes, and we do have a caller on the line.
So now we'll open it up again, so the item number 32 will be heard again.
Right.
Nope, yes, item number 32 will be heard again, and so you're welcome to open it up to public comment if
Okay,
that's your
we have a
pleasure.
caller on the line,
Caller ending in 0454.
0454. You're on the line.
And good morning, board. This is Jennifer Weiss, and I just wanted to let you guys know that stating on social media and the information that's being relayed that this is a quid pro quo or a payback are absolutely untrue, and in fact, kind of